Hello viewers, today we will discuss the topic security laws. Computer security, also known as a cyber security, for IT security is the protection of information systems from theft or damage to the hardware, the software and to the information on them, as well as from the disruption, misdirection of the services they provide. Cybersecurity is the body of technologies, processes and practices designed to protect networks, computers, programs and data from attack, damage or unauthorized access. In a computing context, the term security implies cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, also referred to as information technology security, focuses on protecting computers, networks, programs and data from unintended or unauthorized access, change or destruction. Government, military, corporations, financial institutions, hospitals and other businesses collect, process and store a great deal of confidential information on computers and transmit that data across networks to the other computers. With the growing volume and sophistication of cyber attacks, ongoing attention is required to protect sensitive business and personal information as well as safeguard national security. During a Senate hearing in March 2013, the nation's top intelligence officials warned that cyber attacks and digital spying are the top threat to the national security. Eclipsing terrorism, in that context, we will briefly discuss the National Cybersecurity Policy. The National Cybersecurity Policy 2013 defined that cyberspace is a complex environment consisting of interaction between people, software and services supported by worldwide distribution of information and communication technology, devices and networks. Owing to the numerous benefits brought about by technological advancement, the cyberspace today is a common pool used by the citizens, businesses, critical information infrastructures, military and governments in a manner that makes it difficult to draw clear boundaries among these different groups. The cyberspace is expected to be more complex in the foreseeable future, with manifold increase in networks and devices connected to it. Information technology is the one of the critical sectors that rides on and resides in the cyberspace. It has emerged as one of the most significant growth catalysts for the Indian economy. In addition to fueling Indian economy, this sector is also positively influencing the lives of its people through direct and indirect contribution to the various socio-economic parameters such as employment, standard of living and diversity among others. The sector has played a significant role in transforming India's image to that of global player, in providing world-class technology solutions and IT business services. The government has been a key driver for increased adoption of IT-based products and IT-enabled services in public services, government to citizen services, citizen identification, public distribution systems, healthcare, telemedicine, remote consultations, mobile clinics, education like e-learning and virtual classroom etc. and financial services like mobile banking, payment gateways etc. Such initiatives have enabled increased IT adoption in the country through sectoral reforms and national programs, which have led to the creation of large scale IT infrastructure with the corporate private participation. In the light of the growth of IT sector in the country, ambitious plans for the rapid social transformation and inclusive growth and India's prominent role in the IT global market, providing right kind of focus for creating secure computing environment and adequate trust and confidence in electronic transaction, software services, devices and networks has become one of the compelling priorities for the countries. Such a focus enables creation of the suitable cybersecurity ecosystem in the country in the tune with the globally networked environment. Cyberspace is vulnerable to a wide variety of incidents, whether intentional or accidental, man-made or natural, and the data exchanged in the cyberspace can be exploited for nefarious purposes by both nations, states and non-state actors. Cyber attacks that targets the infrastructure or underlying economic well-being of a nation state can effectively reduce available state resources and undermine confidence in their supporting structure. Cyber-related incident of national significance may take any form: an organized cyber attack, an uncontrolled exploit such as computer virus or worms or any malicious software code, a national disaster with significant cyber consequences, or other related incidents capable of causing extensive damage to the information infrastructure or key assets. Large scale cyber incidents may overwhelm the government, public and private sectors, resources and services by disrupting functioning of the critical information systems. Complications from the disruptions of such a magnitude may threaten lives, economy and national security. Rapid identification, information exchange, investigation, coordinated response, remediation can mitigate the damage caused by the malicious cyberspace activity. Some of the examples of the cyber threat to individual businesses and the governments are identity theft, phishing, social engineering, hacktivism, cyber terrorism, compound threats targeting mobile devices and smartphone, comprised digital certificates, advanced persistent threat, denial of service, botnets, supply chain attacks, data leakage, etc. The protection of the information infrastructure and preservation of the confidentiality, integrity and available of information in cyberspace is the essence of the secure cyberspace. Then we will discuss that there are various ongoing activities and programs of the government to address the cybersecurity challenges, which have significantly contributed to the creation of the platform that is now capable of supporting and sustaining the efforts in securing the cyberspace. Due to the dynamic nature of cyberspace, there is now a need for these actions to be unified under a national cybersecurity policy with an integrated vision and a set of sustained and coordinated strategies for implementation. The cybersecurity policy is an evolving task and it caters to the whole spectrum of ICT users and providers, including home users and small, medium and large enterprises and the government and non-government entities. It serves as an umbrella framework for defining and guiding the actions relating to security of cyberspace. It also enables the individual sectors and organizations in designing appropriate cybersecurity policies to suit their needs. The policy provides an overview of what it takes to effectively protect information system and networks, and also gives an insight into the government's approach and strategy for the protection of cyberspace in the country. It also outlines some pointers to enable collaborative working of all key players in the public and private to safeguard countries' information and information systems. This policy therefore aims to create a cyber security framework which leads to specific actions and programs to enhance the security posture of the country's cyberspace. Then we will discuss some objectives. To create a secure cyber ecosystem in the country, generate adequate trust and confidence in the IT system and transactions in the cyberspace, and thereby enhance adoption of IT in all sectors of the economy. To create an assurance framework for the design of security policy and for the promotion and enabling action for compliance to the global security standards and the best practices by way of conformity assessment and product, process, technology and people. To strengthen the regulatory framework for ensuring a secure cyberspace ecosystem, to enhance, create a national and sectoral level 24/7 mechanism for obtaining strategic information regarding threat to ICT infrastructure, creating scenarios for the response, resolutions and the crisis management through effective predictive, preventive, proactive response and recovery action. To enhance the protection and resilience of the nation's critical information infrastructure by operating a 24/7 national critical information infrastructure protection center and mandating security practices relating to design, acquisition, development, use and operation of the information resources. To develop suitable ingenious security technology through frontier technology, research solution oriented research, proof of concept, pilot development, transition, diffusion and commercialization leading to widespread deployment of secure ICT products, processes in a journal and specifically for addressing national security requirements. To improve visibility of the integrity of the ICT products and services by establishing infrastructure for testing and validation of security of such products. To create a workforce of 5 lakh professionals skilled in cybersecurity in the next 5 years through capacity building, skill development and training. Then to provide fiscal benefits to the businesses for the adoption of standard security practices and processes, to enable protection of information while in process, handling, storage and transit so as to safeguard privacy of citizens' data and for reducing economic losses due to the cybercrime or data theft, to enable effective prevention, investigation, prosecution of cybercrime and enhancement of law enforcement capabilities through appropriate legislative intervention. To create a culture of cybersecurity and privacy, enabling responsible user behavior and actions through an effective communication and promotion strategy. To develop effective public-private partnerships and collaborative engagements through technical and operational cooperation and contribution for enhancing the security of cyberspace. To enhance global cooperation by promoting shared understanding and leveraging relationship for furthering the cause of security of cyberspace. Then we will discuss some strategies. Creating a secure cyber ecosystem, we need to adopt some strategy. The very first one is to designate a national nodal agency to coordinate all the matters related to the cybersecurity in the country with clearly defined roles and responsibility. Second, to encourage all the organization, private, public, to designate a member of senior management as a Chief Information Security Officer responsible for cybersecurity efforts and initiatives. Another one, to encourage all organizations to develop information security policies duly integrated with their business plans and implement such policies as per international best practices. Such policies should include establishing standards and mechanism for secure information flow while in process, handling, storage and transit, crisis management plan, proactive security posture, assessment and forensically enabled information infrastructure. The fourth one is to ensure that all the organization earmark a specific budget for implementing cybersecurity initiative and for meeting emergency response arising out of the cyber incidents. Next strategy is to provide fiscal schemes and incentive to encourage entities to install, strengthen and upgrade information infrastructure with respect to the cyber security. Another one is to prevent occurrence and reoccurrence of cyber incidents by way of incentive for technology development, cyber security compliance and proactive action. To establish a mechanism for sharing information and for identifying and responding to the cybersecurity incident, and for the cooperation in restoration efforts. To encourage entities to adopt guidelines for procurement of trustworthy ICT products and provide for procurements of ingeniously manufactured ICT products that have security implications. Create an insurance framework. Now, we will discuss how to create an insurance framework. To promote adoption and global best practices in the information security and compliance, and thereby enhance cyber security posture. Another one is to create infrastructure for conformity assessment and certification of compliance to the cyber security best practices, standards and the guidelines ISO 27001, ISMS certification, IS system audits, penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, application security testing, web security testing. Then to enable implementation of the global security best practices in formal risk assessment and risk management processes, business continuity, manage and cyber crisis management plan by all entities within the government and in the critical sector to reduce the risk of disruption and improve the security posture. To identify and classify information infrastructure facilitates and assists at entity level with respect to the risk perception for undertaking commensurate security protection measures. To encourage secure applications software development process based on global best practices. Create conformity assessment framework for predictive verification or compliance to the best practices, standards and guidelines on the cyber security. To encourage all the entities to periodically test and evaluate the adequacy and effectiveness of technical and operational security control measures implemented in IT system and in networks. Encouraging open standards. To encourage use of the open standards to facilitate interoperability and data exchange among different products or services. To promote a consortium of the government and a private sector to enhance the availability of tested and certified IT products based on open standards. Then we will discuss the strengthening the regulatory framework. To develop a dynamic legal framework and its periodic review to address the cybersecurity challenges arising out of the technological developments in cyberspace such as cloud computing, mobile computing, encrypted services and social media, and its harmonization with international framework including those related to internet governance. To mandate periodic audit and evaluation of the adequacy and effectiveness of the security of information infrastructure as may be appropriate with respect to the regulatory framework. To enable, educate and facilitate awareness of the regulatory framework, creating mechanism for security threat, early warning, vulnerability, management and response to the security threats. To create national level system, process, structures and mechanism to generate a necessary situational scenario of existing and potential cybersecurity threats and enables timely information sharing for proactive, preventive, protective action for individual entities. To operate a 24/7 national level computer emergency response team to function as nodal agency for coordination of all efforts for the cyber security, emergency response and crisis management. CERT in will function as an umbrella organization in enabling creation and operationalization of sectoral as well as facilitating communication and coordination action in dealing with cyber crisis situations. to operationalize 24/7 SEC role is for all coordination and communication actions within the respective sectors for the effective incident response and resolution and cyber crisis management. To implement cyber crisis management plan for dealing with the cyber related incidents impacting critical national processes or endangering public safety and security of the nation, by way of well coordinated multidisciplinary approach at the national, sectoral as well as entity level. To conduct and facilitate regular cybersecurity drills and exercise at national, sectoral and entity level to enable assessment of the security posture and level of emergency preparedness in resisting and dealing with the cybersecurity incidents. Then we will discuss the promotion of research and development in cybersecurities. To undertake research and development programs for addressing all aspects of development aimed at short term, medium term and long term goal, the research and development programs shall address all aspects including development of trustworthy system, their testing, deployment and maintenance throughout the life cycle, and include R&D on cutting edge security technologies. To encourage research and development to produce cost effective, tailor made indigenous security solutions meeting a wider range of cybersecurity challenges and target for export markets. To facilitate transition, diffusion and commercialization of the outputs of research and development into the commercial products and services for the use in the public and private sectors. To set up the centers for the excellence in the area of strategic importance from the point of view of security of cyberspace. To collaborate in joint research and development projects with the industry and the academia in the frontline technology and solution oriented research, reducing supply chain risk. To create a maintained testing infrastructure and facilitates for the IT security products evolution and compliance verification as per the global standard and practices. To build trusted relationship with product system, vendor and service provider for improving end-to-end supply chain security visibility. To create awareness of the threats, vulnerabilities and consequences of breach of security among entities for the managing supply chain risk related to the IT procurements. Then we will discuss human resource development. To foster education and training programs both in formal and informal sectors to support nation's cybersecurity needs a build capacity. To establish cybersecurity training infrastructure across the country by way of public-private partnership arrangement. To establish cybersecurity concept labs for awareness and skill development in key areas. To establish institutional mechanism for capacity building for law enforcement agencies. Then creating cybersecurity awareness. To promote and launch a comprehensive national awareness program on security of cyberspace. To sustain a security literacy awareness and publicity campaign through electronic media to help citizens to be aware of the challenges of cybersecurity. To conduct, support and enable cybersecurity workshops, seminars and certification. Then developing effective public-private partnership. To facilitate collaboration and cooperation among the stakeholder entities including private sectors in the area of cybersecurity in general and protection of critical information infrastructure in a particular for the action related to the cyber threat, vulnerabilities, breaches, potential protective measures and adoption of best practices. To create models for the collaboration and engagement with all the relevant stakeholders. To create a think tank for the cybersecurity policies, input, output discussion, deliberation, information sharing and cooperation. To develop bilateral and multilateral relationships in the area of cybersecurity with other countries. to enhance national and global cooperation among security agencies, defense agencies and forces, law enforcement agencies and judicial system, to create mechanism for the dialogue related to the technical and operational aspect with the industry in order to facilitate efforts in recovery and assistance of the system, including critical information infrastructure approaches for the implementation. To adopt a prioritized approach to implement the policy so as to address the most critical areas in the first instance, operationalization of the policy. This policy shall be operationalized by way of detailed guidelines and plans of action at various levels such as national, sectoral, state, ministry, department and enterprise as may be appropriate to address the challenging requirement of security of the cyberspace. In concluding remarks, we can say cybersecurity is one of the most urgent issue of the day. Computer networks have always been the target of the criminals, and it is likely that the danger of cybersecurity breaches will only increase in the future as these networks expand. But there are sensible precautions that organizations can take to minimize losses from those who seeks to do harm. With the right level of preparation and specialist extreme assistance, it is possible to control damages and recover from a cyber breach and its consequences. With rapid technological developments have provided vast area of new opportunities and potential sources of efficiency for organization of all the sizes. These new technologies have also brought unprecedented threats with them. Cybersecurity, defined as the protection of the systems, networks and data in cyberspace, is a critical issue for all the business. Cybersecurities will only become more important as more devices or the Internet of the Things become connected to Internet. Thank you viewers for watching this program.